Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is actor, producer, and camera assistant Lucas Paternott. We met 5 years ago, I think. Yes. Wow. Yes. 5 years ago when you were on set of my show, Nate and Jamie. So yes, welcome to the show, Lucas.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on the show and reconnect all these years later as well.
For sure.
So you're a triple threat now. So when I first met you, you were just like, you can't, because I remember we were shooting in a bar and you was an extra.
I remember that very well that day.
Yes. Really?
I remember that very, very well.
What do you remember about it?
So I remember I was seeing this girl at the time. This is way before we broke up. She went on to do like theatre, and she went to what's that drama uni? Is it Goldsmiths?
Okay,
one of them.
Goldsmiths, that's film and drama.
So I saw her doing some stuff there, and I reached out and I was like, "Look, I'm trying to do this thing. What you got for me?" And a couple of weeks later, she was like, "Oh, I was on Star now, and they're doing this thing with extras." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sick." She was like, "Come down, it's going to be in Greenwich." I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." She sent me an address. I was like, "Rah, all bar one in O2." Like, okay. I remember spending 3 hours getting ready because I was like, "Oh my God, this is going to be my break." I always hear stories, extras getting pulled out and they're going to be famous. I'm like, okay. And I pull up, get there, and I'm like, "Wow, they rented out the whole place. This is sick." And then I get in and they're like, "Okay, so you're going to be on this table chatting to these guys." I was like, cool. I'm like, "Oh, my face is on the camera. Yeah. Oh, this is it. This is going to be it." Just before they went to roll, I can't remember who it was. Someone was like, "Actually, can you switch round?" I was like, "Oh, damn it." Okay, cool. And I remember watching it and you see like the left half of my shoulder and I was like, "Oh, that's me.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Because I remember that day. Because I remember you being there. Actually. And I didn't direct that episode because I was at that stage of my life. I was like, I'm not directing anymore. So it was like, what was it? It was the director Troy, yes, and there was a DP called Carl, and they were really kind of placing everybody specifically for that scene. And you're right, we did rent out all bar one.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Where we were at, it was the VIP lounge.
Yeah.
So that's we're for really. I've been there for events as well. Like it's really like. Elite stuff. So it was really cool to just because we shot there before actually as well.
Oh, okay.
In the first season of Nate and Jamie, and it was fun to do like a full circle moment, especially as that was like the last episode ever.
Right.
So it was just like that was a manic day as well. There was a bunch of extras. It was like chaotic, but it's just fun to hear that. I mean, extras. I mean, the thing is, it can happen. I have seen some in some cases, and I'm sure you've probably seen now as well. Where like a director will give like an extra a few lines to say in something and stuff like that. So it does happen.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I just remember thinking like, damn, this is it. This is gonna be it, man.
And what was that like for you though, being on set and like, okay, for the first time?
I mean, I'd always wanted to do it my whole life, even as a kid. But as a child, I was quite nervous. Like, even my my earliest memory of performing was probably one of my primary school plays. I went to a Catholic primary school, and I remember I was I can't remember what it was now, King something, I can't remember his name. And the line was I was supposed to stand up and be like, "I'm going to kill the baby Jesus," like that. And because of the surroundings, and obviously like my whole family was there, my nan's like really, really religious. I stood up and I literally just went, and I couldn't say it. I could not say it. I was like, man, and that haunted me for a good while. But I'd always and then as I grew up a bit, I was quite overweight, so I was like, my self-esteem, my confidence was rock bottom. And it wasn't really until I was working in an office because I didn't go to uni, and I was like, uni's not my thing. I wanted to kind of just I felt stuck. I felt like I was in a cage, the hamster wheel sort of thing. And I was looking around. I was like, I don't fit with these people. Like everyone's come, short back and sides hair, you know, clean shaven, you know, blue shirt, pink tie, you know, the usual standard corporate stuff. And I was like, man, I'm coming in with like my Star Wars shirt, my hair's down, I got a beard. I'm like, I don't fit here. And on my, I want to say 20th birthday, I had this big like crisis moment. I was like, I cannot do this, bro. I don't want to be one of those guys who's in his 50s and like, I hate my life, everything's miserable. I was like, nah, that's not me at all. So I literally was like, do you know what? I'm gonna quit. What am I gonna do? What am I going to do? I was like, what have I always wanted to do? I was like, all right, I can't be a musician because that's a lot. Like, I'm way late in the game by now. So I was like, acting. I'm gonna be an actor. So I told my friend about it. We have this thing where if we have something big to tell, we will go to the Kervan Turkish restaurant in Edmonton, and that's our place. If we're like, hey man, look, we gotta go. We gotta go Kervan. We got something.
It's like big decisions happen there.
We come there. That's like our business meeting place.
Okay.
I was like, look, I'm gonna quit my super stable job. You know, it was a great career. I was a quantity surveyor, and it was a good career. You know, but just it wasn't me. I couldn't do that whole corporate stuff. And sat him down. I was like, look, I'm gonna quit my job. He was like, oh, okay, cool. What, you got another job lined up? I was like, nope. He was like, so what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna be an actor. He kind of was like, I mean, that's mad. You're going to leave your stable career for one of the most flaky, pure luck jobs you can have. I was like, yeah. He was like, have you told your parents? I was like, not yet. Not yet, but I will. Same sort of thing. I actually quit my job, came home and pretended I was, because I still live with my mom at this point. Pretended I was still going to work for 2 weeks. I would get up, I'd iron my shirt, I'd get ready, I'd walk to the bus stop. And one time she was like, oh, I'm leaving the same time. Do you want to get dropped to the bus stop? I was like, yeah, thank you. Yeah, of course. And then one day I was in my kitchen. It was me, my mum and my sister. And I literally looked at them and went, who in this room has got 2 thumbs and quit their job? And they were like, what? I was like, this guy. They were like, what? What do you mean you quit your job? We're like, what are you going to do? And I basically told them the whole, like, I'm going to be an actor, my sister was like, are you nuts? My mum was like, okay. And I was like, okay. She goes, yeah, I mean, like, if that's what you want to do and that's what is going to make you happy, then, you know, I'm all for it. Just, please, just try your best and I'll support you however I can. That was an amazing response. Went to my dad, same thing. I was like, Dad, I'm going to take you and my stepmom out for a lunch at Weatherspoons, because that's the kind of money I had. I had Weatherspoons money. I was like, I'm going to take you to Weatherspoons and I'm going to sit you down. I want to talk to you about something. He's like, okay, cool. Sat him down. And I was like, yeah, so I'm going to quit my job. Same sort of thing as my friend. Oh, what have you got lined up? I was like, no, I'm going to be an actor. He was like, an actor? And I was like, yeah. He was like, no, I don't know about that. I was like, and it got a bit heated, but I get where he was coming from, you know, like, he supports me now 100%. And even after that conversation, it was very much, okay, so what do we need to do? Where he's that sort of person. And my mum's just sort of, as long as you're happy, you're safe, and you're not going to be, you know, homeless from this, then I'm there. I'm happy for you, and I'm very lucky I had those supportive people around me. Fast forward a little bit, I contacted the one person I knew in the industry, which was my neighbour, who had an agent, and he'd just done this music video, and he was like basically a featured extra in it. And I was like, yeah, he's the guy. He's the one that I'm gonna, again, I'm seeing flashing lights again. I'm there. And he's like, look, I can't give you anything, but I can give you an opportunity. I was like, okay, well, what is it? He was like, so my agency, they do like these networking events where you come down and you just have a chat with all the agents and all the other actors on their books. I I was like, okay, cool. So I'll just come as your guest. And they were like, yeah, okay, cool. Go to this bar. I can't remember where it was. I just remember it was on Oxford Street. And I'm getting along with everyone, and it was a free bar. So I'm like, yes, yes. Drinking. And the CEO of the agency came up to me, and she goes,
Oh, okay.
I want to talk to you later. And I'm thinking, oh man, I've ordered way too many things. She's going to be so mad. Fast forward a bit, end of the night comes around. She comes up to me and she's like, at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm done for. I'm finished. She goes, let me first start off by saying you have a fantastic look and I need you on my books.
Oh, wow.
I was like, huh? What? I was like, okay. She was like, here's my card. Give me your email. I'm going to send you over a contract. I'm like, wow.
So it's that easy.
Wow. I'm like, wow.
The luck was coming fast.
Damn, okay. And I remember, this is the I think I missed, no, the night tube wasn't a thing at this point, I don't think. So I remember getting a 279 from Trafalgar Square all the way back up to Enfield. Get out. Obviously, I'm a little bit drunk, but I remember literally dancing and singing the entire way down my road. Like, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing that I set out to do. This is amazing.
I'm about to be a series regular.
Exactly.
On the show.
That's it. I'm going to be there. Brad Pitt. Yeah, he's my mate. Yeah, no problem. And that feeling of tremendous and unfiltered joy is a feeling that to this day I still chase, and how I know for a fact I am in the right place that I need to be. They then got me my first audition, which was terrible on my part.
What was it for? What was it for?
It was for Maleficent 2.
Oh, okay. They were putting you in big leagues.
And
okay. Well, had you had training at this point as an actor? Oh, okay.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay.
And I auditioned. Wait for it.
What role? Yeah.
Male Fairy number 3. And I went there. I was so nervous, and the casting assistant, not even the director, could see that. I'm in the waiting room. I'm like chewing my nails. My feet are tapping. I'm like sweating.
So wait, did you have lines to learn, or what was the audition process?
So I got the audition, went to the studio, but I had no material at all at this point.
Oh, okay.
And she came out and said to me, you don't have a line, but when you go in, they're going to give you a line.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. All right. Fine. Go in. Hi, guys. How you doing? I'm like, my hands are literally shaking. I'm like, this is not going.
Get loads of sweat pouring down the face.
Okay, come on, get this on.
Okay.
I go in, and they give me the line of, it was something like, she's flying in from the east, or a very short, simple line. And I kid you not, I did 7 takes of it. 7 takes, because I was going,
oh no.
My throat started closing up. I'm like, oh God, this is everything I heard about, but I never thought it would happen to me. She's I
wish I could have covered my eyes for you.
It was so bad, and I left there terrified. I was like, okay. Told them, they're like, so they called me up afterwards. So how did it go? Like, it's your first audition. I was like, yeah, I don't think I got it.
But then that's so interesting to throw you into something like that so quickly. Like, I get, okay, she liked your look, but didn't you have meetings to discuss like where you wanted to go in your career, what background you had done? Like, what was that whole process like?
No, not at all. Like, so at that point, I kind of was like, I need to get training, because I owe that agency, the Boss Talent, run by Denise Ebsworth. I owe her and them so much as to my confidence within getting into a room and auditioning, because I find myself that I learn the most and very quickly when I am thrown into that deep end.
Okay.
They at one point were literally, right when I started my career, I was getting 2 to 3 auditions a week, in-person auditions as well. So that comfort and that sort of being relaxed in the room and not doing the trembly hands and the sweating and the voice choke came from them doing that for me. So I was like, okay, we need to not let that happen again.
I would assume so, because that's like, you know, a reputation is, they see you on the call sheet or the name of people who are gonna audition. They're like, not this guy again. Like, is he gonna actually speak in full sentences this time? So okay, fine. So like, okay, so you got training. You went and got. Where did you go? What, you know?
First, I called up all the big ones.
Oh, wow.
I called up RADA, I called up BFI, I called up all of the big ones. I was like, yeah, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it big.
I mean, I get that.
So I called up, I can't remember which one it was, and they said to me, look, it's going to cost you $30,000 a year.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize drama school costs that much
The big boys, it costs a lot of money. Wow, I was like, okay. And he goes, but student finance is available. So I'm like, okay, I've never went to uni, so I'll be, eligible for student finance. I was like, okay, what percentages are we talking here? He goes, you can finance £4,000 of it. So I was like, I don't have the 30, but I've got the 26, but I can just loan the last 4. So I was like, okay, thank you for your time, bye.
So is it, because from what I know about, like RADA and what's the other one?
Is it Lambda?
Central, there's Lambda, Central Screens, or Screen
Central St. Mind? Is that?
I don't know, there's something Central.
Yeah.
That one as well.
Yeah.
I think people mostly abbreviate to like CSS or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that one.
Right, yeah.
I know those are MAs, like they're like master's degrees. So that's probably why as well.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're gonna go NFTS and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, nah. Like, so okay.
Because my mindset stemmed from the fact that I was just never into uni, even even in school. All the teachers going, "Oh, cool, you're gonna get your UCAS points. You're gonna,
Yes.
That was never of interest to me. I was like, why am I going to spend time staying in basically big school?
Yeah.
When I could just go out and do the work now.
No, I get that.
So I was like, okay, cool. I can't afford the big ones. I can't afford the medium ones, and I can't afford the small ones. Where can I go? Groupon.
I thought you were going to say like Identity, because everyone goes to Identity.
Well, I couldn't afford Identity. That £50 audition fee, then when you get it, if you get it,
you have to pay to audition. Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
And then you have to pay for uniform. I was like, no. Groupon, here we go. I'm gonna dip my toe in and see what happens.
Okay.
So I think it was like £80 for 4 weeks. No, 8 weeks it was.
Oh, okay.
And it's literally just teaching about breaking down a script, being in front of camera, different techniques, It was with a company called Fox and Chips, based in King's Cross, with a guy called Vince Gade. Did the course and turned up on the first day. I'm like, okay, cool, right. Again, I'm back in the zone again, right? This is going to be it. This is where I'm going to be made. Right?
I love the high expectations you have. Like, it's good. It's good.
I still have those to this day.
Good. It's good.
Turn up. He's like, okay, so the class has already started. And you obviously weren't here for the last 2 weeks, so you don't know what the homework was, and you don't have a partner. Take 5 minutes out of the room, find a monologue, and you're just going to perform it in front of everyone. I was like, sure, thanks, man. Cheers.
It's things like this. It's things like that why I could never be an actor, because you're always performing in front of people all the time, and I couldn't, like, the fear of embarrassment.
I had that for a very long time, even during the classes, and so I looked up and I found Bing's speech from Black Mirror, which is Daniel Kaluuya's part where he's doing the dancing and he does the shard to his neck.
Okay.
I couldn't memorize it. I'd never performed any sort of monologue. I barely read a script, and I'm literally standing there with my phone in my hand, basically sight reading it at the time. I finished, and again that's that similar feeling which I spoke about before, of that joy and unfiltered just passion. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, it was shit, but it was bad, okay. But I still loved every second of it.
Okay.
I finished that, and then he did another course with a separate company, but it's still his, called Empower. That was a year-long course where I learned everything I know now as an actor. And the biggest lesson not the techniques, not your Meisners, your Strasbergs, all of that. Was we were doing animal work where you had to. You got there was a hat with a load of random animals in it. You pick it out and you have to act as that animal.
I've seen a film like this. Like the whole plot of that was in a drama school, and you had to pick an animal out of the hat, and it was a black guy and he picked a gorilla, and it just kind of it's a brilliant film, but so I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Like I get it. Okay.
And I had to. I think it was an orangutan.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking at someone's walking across being a penguin, someone else is a spider, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
And I'm trying to think, how would you even act out as an orangutan?
I'm literally there what
do you do?
I'm scratching my armpit. I'm like to him yo, I'm not doing this. What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. And in probably my biggest Mr. Miyagi Karate Kid moment, he was like, look, it's not about, for you right now, it's not about, are you an orangutan? You obviously have this nerves and this sort of embarrassment about being what you deem to be silly in front of all these people. Mm. What do you want to be? I was like, an actor. He goes, okay, an actor is a performer, and you're going to be performing in front of 5 or millions of people. You need to get over this. All of us here, we're all actors. Everyone wants to be an actor. If you can't be comfortable doing this stuff here, how are you going to be on a stage? How are you going to be on a massive film set with hundreds of people watching you?
Yeah.
And I just went, damn.
Yeah.
That was the thing, and that point there changed everything for me as more, not even just an actor, as a person too. Just being yourself and being cool, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And that was massive for me, because fast forward a few months later, same agent, they're like, we've got you an audition for a 3 Mile Bar advert.
I remember this.
It's a lot of money.
Yes, and when you in some you were some, I don't even know how to describe it.
I was a caveman.
Yes, that's it. Yes, a caveman. I remember this. Yes.
I go into the audition, and they're playing. There's a TV out there in the waiting room, and they're playing Planet of the Apes. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, all right.
Yeah, they're warming you up without you realizing.
I get in, and they're like, okay, guys. So for this audition, you are going to be playing orangutans. I'm hold on a minute. Wow. This was again another Mr. Miyagi moment. I get in there, and it's literally 3 of us, and we have to be chimps. And we're literally jumping on each other, picking out fleas and making the noises and stuff. I leave, I'm like, wow, that was so weird. That is so weird. I get on the train, get off at Tottenham Hale, phone rings. They loved you. We want you back for a recall tomorrow. I'm like, damn, okay, work's going to be pissed at me, but okay, fine. Get back on the train, go to work. Next day, go to the recall, and it's the same thing again. They're like, okay, but now make it more human, because what the part we're offering you is you're going to be a Neanderthal. I'm like, okay, cool. Do it. Same thing. Get off the train. Go home. Agent calls me. She's like, Lucas, you've got it. I was like, nah. No way. And she's like, no, seriously, you've booked it and we want to congratulate you, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't speak. I was crying so hard. I couldn't stop it. It was just flowing out of my face. And I'm calling everyone I'm going to be on TV. This is going to be amazing. Shoot comes, and they are like, okay, so we're not filming in the UK. We're going to film out in Ukraine. I'm like, okay, wow. Cool. I've only been on a plane twice in my life at this point. Now I'm being flown out. Okay, all right, cool. Land in Ukraine. Blacked out Mercedes comes.
What?
They're like, Mr. Paternott, this is for you. I'm like,
the A-list treatment.
Again, this is it. I've made it. Jump in. They're like, where are we going to go? I'm like, no, I asked them, sorry, where are we going to go? They're like, oh, we're going to go to your hotel. So I'm like, okay, some I don't know, Ukrainian travel lodge type,
Yeah.
I pull up. It is the highest rated hotel in Ukraine. in Kiev. Sorry,
no, it's true.
5-star marble.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. I just did brief stint in advertising the past 10 months. They have the budget.
Yeah,
okay, trust me.
commercials are crazy.
They have the budget. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not surprised by that.
I get dropped off. I walk in, marble everywhere, marble, gold. There's like this crazy lift going up. I'm like, this kind of luxury was not a thing that I thought I would attain ever. Especially not at the age I was. That was 2018, so I was 21. I was 21, so this has only been a year into my career, and I'm like, okay, I've made it. I've made it. Get on set after 4 hours of prosthetic makeup to make me look like, a caveman.
But how was that for you sitting there? Did you not eat, drink? Did you have any toilet breaks?
Everything was through a straw.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a lot, like my whole cheekbones, my chin. I had extra beard put in, like they put extensions in my beard and then crimped them and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it because I was like, this is what I want. This is everything. I'm basically getting a deluxe package of everything that I'd want to do in a film in the space of, I was there for a week, but I only shot for 1 day. So the rest of the time, I'm getting per diem. So I'm like, you're giving me money just to eat? They're like, yeah. Cash, here you go. I'm like, okay.
So
sure.
wait, so how did you get the time off work? Because you said you were still working. So what was that conversation like?
I told him.
Oh,
I was
okay.
Like, 'cause one thing, like, in any like quote unquote normal job I've had, I've been like very honest with them and said like, look, I'm trying to be an actor. I don't want to waste your time and lie to you and be like, oh, I'm sick. I'm be really honest with you.
Okay.
Sometimes I won't be here. Sometimes I'll tell you 5 minutes before we're supposed to end, I'm not here tomorrow. And if that's something you're okay with, then cool. If not, then it's fine. I'll keep looking, no hard feelings. And I kind of just told them like, look, I've got this thing. It'll be for a week. Unless you're going to give me this same money and this sort of credit on my CV, I'm not staying. There's no way I'm staying.
Yeah.
So I step on set after the makeup, and we are in this sort of like nature reserve on the edge of a cliff. I've got massive cranes. I've got a block out that's getting rid of the sun. There's about 300 people on set. Lunch is being brought to me, and I'm just in awe. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is amazing. I'm in the middle of the scene, and I go, oh man, I could use some water. A runner about 50 meters away, someone taps them, tells them, full sprint, runs over. Here, I'm so sorry, straw in my mouth. I'm like, okay, all right.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm not used to this. It's okay. Like,
I
can drink myself. It's okay.
Yeah.
Similar thing. I'm like, because I smoke, and I was like, oh, I could use a cigarette. Comes over, puts it in my mouth. I'm like, okay, all right, guys, all right. I know there's some people who are into that. I'm not. If you want to,
I've never seen that in person. Like,
I can walk off, do my thing, come back. You don't have to do this for me. But the fear in that runner's eyes, I just remember like, damn.
And I've been there, so I understand.
Yes.
I've been a runner, so
yes.
Yeah. Making sure everyone's happy.
Yes. So that was my first job, and it was, to me, larger than life. I got the full experience, treated like royalty. Fast forward now.
But I'm sure those usage fees were nice.
Usage and extension fees were delicious. Don't get me wrong, I do not have any of that now, and I spent all of that very quickly.
But if it just happens to go back in circulation again,
yes,
you get those back.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
I'm sure that was nice.
But I obviously spent stupid shit on myself. But one thing I remember, so when I was younger, we didn't have a lot of money at home, and I remember I was like to my mum, I got paid like a bit. Let me take you like food shopping. These times food shopping was like, I don't know, we could only do like 50 to 100 sort of pounds. Go to Morrison's. I'm like, get what you want. Let me get the big trolley, because we didn't get the big trolley shops. We got the little trolley ones. Sometimes a basket, but never the big ones. I go with the big trolley, and she's like, oh, I like this. I'm like, put it in. She's like, no, what do you mean? We filled up that trolley to the max. And I remember saying like, Mum, I got this. She's like, no, but there's a lot here. I'm like, no, Mum, like, this is one of the things that I've always wanted to be as an actor, being able to give back to my family, the stuff, the you know, emotional support, but also financial support that they gave to me when I know that there were times that they didn't have it. And I still have the receipt from that time. I'm very sentimental with things like that. Like I've got boxes dedicated to things, and one of the things is the receipt from when I bought my mum that crazy amount of shopping. And that again was another feeling of like, wow, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. Christmas came, like we always had these really crap Hoovers. I know this sounds so crazy now I'm saying it out loud. We had these really crappy Hoovers, and I was like, Mum, you're getting a Dyson. I'm going all out. You're getting a Dyson. And I got my dad like this really rare like bottle of Jack Daniels, because he's really into his whiskeys and stuff. I was like, I'm going to get you this crazy bottle of whiskey. And again, Christmas Day, I filmed it, and like they were just like, whoa. I'm like, yep, trust me, this is going to be it. Like from here on out, your son's going to be famous. He's going to be rich. He's going to be everything. I was very wrong.
But you know what? You can imagine that, because, you know, this is what you're working hard for. You get that big break in a huge commercial, which was everywhere, because I saw it everywhere as well. I remember seeing it on your Instagram, you doing that. I was like, oh, that's sick. And then seeing it everywhere. So you think, okay, this is it. And then the reality hits you like, no, that's just one job. Like, you know, then the struggle comes. And so what was, after that, what kind of happened next?
The immediate thing was going back to work, like my normal day job. Like, so I used to work in a plumbing shop called, at the time it was Plum Centre, and you know, there's people talking to me like crap, like, oh, get this, get that. Like, I was literally just a counter servant. I was counter staff, sorry. And I'm like, man, I was getting people doting on me hand and foot. People were bringing me lunch. Exactly. Like, I was at a 5-star hotel, and now you're telling me what? Nah.
You just want to be like, fuck this job.
Yeah, honestly. And I was like, that feeling of what I hear about a lot, like post-show blues, was so real. And I'd never experienced it before. And I was like, man, this is so bad. I need to get the next job. So I went on, I was just always on Star now, Mandy, backstage.
So why did you feel the need to start to apply and look for work yourself, even though you had this agent getting you in these certain rooms?
Because I just wanted it so, I still do. I still want it so bad. Like that they were my first agent. I'm now on my fourth agent.
Oh, so why in your fourth?
So, like I said, my first agent, they were absolutely amazing, and they taught me an awful lot. My second agency promised me the world of, you know, I won't say any names for the middle two. I
think that's enough said as to why you won't.
Promised me the world of, like, yeah, we're going to get you film, we're going to get you TV, yeah, you're done with commercials, you're going to be a big famous actor. So I'm like, okay, cool. 6 months later, the company folded.
Oh, was this during COVID or before COVID?
Before COVID.
Oh, okay.
It was a very rigorous audition process for them. I had to do 3 auditions for them. One via self-tape, one in person, and then another one in person, and they took me on. The company then folded because one of the founders left to become a lawyer. And
that's interesting.
The only audition they ever got me was for a 70-year-old white man. Yeah. And I said to him, like, are you know, I'm not any of those things apart from a man. They're like, no, it'll be fine. I sent it off and obviously didn't hear anything back. So when they folded, I was agentless. I was a nomad in the acting world at this point. And I remember getting into this Twitter discussion with someone about Spotlight, because basically I needed an agent to be on Spotlight at this point. I couldn't be self-represented because I was still classed as a young performer. And this other agency chimed in and started backing me up a bit. And I was like, oh, you hiring? You hiring?
Okay.
Went for a meeting with them, and then they signed me. I was with them for about 2.5 years. Again, similar things. They got me 2.5 years. They got me 2 auditions. I wasn't a big fan of their communication style, because there was none. and then we fell out due to a miscommunication about my spotlight, because when I went from 24 to 25, you're no longer a young performer. And you need to update that, because your young performer profile no longer exists, so you must reapply basically. And I didn't know that.
You have to reapply?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So I didn't know that. And they basically said, well, you went off the grid for 9 months. I'm like, wait, 9 months? I haven't had a spotlight for 9 months? And you guys didn't tell me? No. Well, we just thought you weren't really into it anymore.
What? See, this is why I'm so happy you're sharing this story about agents, because every actor, like what you were saying in the beginning, like, this is it, I'm going to get my big break. It's like, depending on your agent and the relationship you have with your agent and what they can actually do for you versus what they're actually saying they can do is two different things. And I have so many relationships with like actors where they're getting their own work and they still have to give 10% to their agent and they're not doing anything. So it's like an agent doesn't mean it's going to do anything for you.
Not necessarily. Like, they only open the doors to bigger stuff. So like all like the low level stuff, you know, like the Star Nows, the Mandys, stuff like that. You can find that yourself.
Yeah.
You can apply for that yourself. You just have to pay the fee for whatever it is a month.
Yeah.
But the big stuff, like the big, even then, there's some big commercials on Star Now I've seen.
But it's like if those agents have the pull to actually even get you in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about their connection.
Yeah.
If you're with an agent who doesn't have those connections, it's kind of pointless for you.
Yes. And I'd say my biggest tip to anyone who's an aspiring actor who hasn't got an agent yet: if an agency tells you to pay up front a cost, please don't do it. Please don't do it, because I've heard so many horror stories. They're like, oh, well, we want $3,000 up front, and that means we won't take a percentage of your future earnings. No, don't do that. An agent for me is basically like a partner.
Yes.
You know, if you don't work, they don't work.
Yeah.
So it's in their best interest to you know, push you in the ways that they can. Which leads me to my most recent agent. They are fantastic. They will. They're called Finley Ravenheart.
Oh, I know them.
Headed by Joe and Marie, with their two assistants. They are fantastic. They like, if you send them a tape and it's bad, they will tell you it's bad. It's
And
not.
that's
It's
the
not.
team you need.
It's not them being horrible. It's them looking out for you. They're like, that's why don't we try it this way? Why don't we try it that? You know, and that to me is so vital into my career. Like, you know, it is an art form, and everyone has their own opinion on art. But you know, I might see a script this way, and they go, you know what? I've seen this kind of script before. I think you should try it like this. It might not be the way I'm wanting to do it, but they know what casting directors want. They know what they're into. You know, and that just comes with industry experience and the ability within an agent to say like, nah, try again, and that's okay. You just have to know, especially even auditions as well. You know, it's never personal. It's never, and that's another thing that I'd like to, you know, any actor out there listening, not getting auditions is never your fault. It could have been you were half an inch too tall, maybe your hair was a little bit too long. You know, it could be the dumbest thing. Because think of one of your fondest ever memories. Now, you are going to recreate that in real life. If someone doesn't fit that exactly to the T how you want it to be, that's not their fault. They've not done anything wrong. They could have performed amazingly. But you're like, oh, like this, I'm going to tell a story about my dad. Oh, but my dad was like 6'4" and you're like 5'10". You're an amazing actor, but you just don't fit that thing that I'm looking for.
Exactly. And that's why rejection is so common, and that's why you have to get used to getting rejected, and it's not a personal attack on you. I can understand if you haven't booked something in a year and you've been going on loads of auditions, then maybe I can understand, but in a general term of what you're saying, it's so true. Yeah,
because that plagues a lot of actors, especially aspiring actors, or even the big ones who like, damn, like I haven't worked in a year, is it me? And a lot of the times it's not a personal attack on you. It's never ever personal, and you just need to kind of have that ability within yourself, or grow it within yourself, to just take it on the chin. Like, I've never been upset about not getting an audition except for one. There was this one audition. It was my own fault, so which is why I'm taking it personally.
Okay, fine.
I had an audition to play Romeo in a modern telling of Romeo and Juliet. It was called Juliet and Romeo.
Okay.
It was done by a small little production company called Giggle Riot Theatre. They're really great people. I was like, yes, because I don't get on well with Shakespearean language. But this was in modern English, playing Romeo, my favourite Shakespeare play. I go into audition. It had been my first in-person audition since COVID.
Oh, okay.
So, I'd not been used to socialising with people. I'd not been used to performing. And I walk into the room and they're like, okay, and whenever you're ready. They were really lovely, really accommodating. They was in the Cockpit Theatre. I then started to do the lines, and it was kind of a throwback to my first ever audition. My throat starts closing up. I'm like, no. I thought I was past this, man. No. Completely bombed. And they're like, okay, would you like to try for a different character? It says on here on your CV you can do accents. Now, I can do accents, but in that moment, I couldn't think of a single accent. They're like, try this in French, and you're going to play the landlord. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know why it came out Turkish. Oh. They're like, that's not, it's not quite French. And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Like, that is my bad. Obviously didn't get it.
Yeah.
But, that was my own fault for lack of preparation. And, we as actors, we are our own instruments. And if you don't keep up to date, you don't keep fresh, it could be anything, filming a silly monologue on your phone, or just meeting up with friends and going through a script, or, even just having an agent that gets you a load of self-tapes, that keeps you fluid, keeps you in the game. That was the one audition that I really, really wanted, but through lack of preparation and, paying attention to myself and what I need to do, that bombed quite bad.
So why do you think that happens to you? Because it was something you really wanted, and then that happens. Do you feel like it's imposter syndrome comes over? Like, what do you think that is?
I mean, I do hear a lot of people that suffer from imposter syndrome, but for me personally, I want it so bad that where in moments where I start to succeed, I'm like, no, I'm meant to be here. I've sacrificed so much. I've done so much work that this is for me. But in that moment, I think it was, like I said, it was lack of preparation.
Okay.
I didn't keep up the training with myself. And I wanted it so bad that I forgot, what to do. I was so focused, like, I'm going to get it. This is meant for me. That I lost sight of what I needed to do in that moment, and it blew up in my face.
But that's important. You have to remember why you want to do this, why you're doing it, instead of thinking beyond that. Because if you go into this industry, particularly trying to be famous and get awards and all that stuff, you're not going to get there, because your creativity and your soul isn't in it. We live and breathe this every day. Awards are nice. They're very nice, okay? But they don't guarantee the next check. That's true. That's the thing. It doesn't open up those doors. Depending on who you are and how your reputation in the industry, it could, improve your rate and what you're charging. But, it's completely different. Yeah. So for you, I know now that you're balancing acting and being a producer and a camera trainee. So what happened to make you want to become, a crew member? What was that like?
So I did a short film called Snowflake with a director called Jack Lawrence, and that was amazing. That was my first sort of lead role in a thing. Okay. It was the first time I ever had a review. It was a good review, so I was like, oh, okay. I then did another film with him and mentioned to him that I'm trying to break away from my normal quote-unquote day job, and I want to become a crew member. I was like, okay, on the next one, you can be a runner, and I'm going to introduce you to my AD guy, and you can talk about it. Spoke about it with him. He was like, okay, cool. I've got this other shoot coming up in a few months. You can come on as a runner. We'll obviously pay you. That was tough. It was in the what was it? It was a chartered bankers building, I think it was. I can't remember what it was called. 6 flights of stairs, and we weren't allowed to use the lift. Carrying equipment up and down. It's typical runner stuff. Go get coffees, go get lunches, do this, do that, clean the floors, you know.
Yeah.
It was tough, but, you know, I was like, no, I still love it. I love this. Not only just acting, it taught me that I learned about myself, that I love more than just acting. I love this industry.
Yeah.
So from then, again, Star Now, I did my first feature film as a runner, which kind of was more like a second AC role, because my granddad, on my dad's side, he was a photographer his whole life, so I was always around cameras, and I was always really interested in cameras. So when I saw the DP at the time, they're like, oh, I need a lens change. I was like, I'll do it. They're like, you sure? we don't let runners touch lenses, right?
Exactly. Like, fuck around and mess up my equipment. So.
I was scared, but I was like, no, I've done this millions of times, obviously on a much smaller scale, but I can do it. That was a 14-day shoot. Again, another runner role, more runner roles. Then I got an assistant producer role.
Oh, okay. That's a big jump.
Yes. And I found that out with the fact that there was prep and pre-production, which I didn't even think about at the time.
Yes, very important.
Yes.
very, very.
Which I now know, and I have a lot of appreciation for producers who do that, because I hate that. That is, as a producer, that is the worst part for me. The paperwork, the setting everything up. Is everyone going to be here? I need to book this one a train. This one needs a car. This one needs a plane.
And that's why I've just quit producing. I'm tired of it.
I don't blame you, man.
Listen. The fights I almost got into. Okay.
And then that led to second AC.
Okay.
Then first AC, and I just realised that as the world of acting and being the talent is very different to the world of being the crew. The crew is sort of like a normal job where if you turn up, you do well, you get recognised for that, and you can be on the next 10 jobs with someone. Yeah,
that's very true, yeah.
But as an actor, you're not going to be that character the same 10 times in every single job. So it's a lot harsher for the world of acting. But crew, as long as, you know, you turn up on time, you do your job very well, and you get on with people, that is a much easier path to go down. So I was like, okay, I want to make sure that the job I'm doing, my day job, is still within the industry, so that no matter what, I'm either in front of a camera or I'm behind a camera. So I then did a short, when was it? March 2 years ago. I did a film called Punch, which is a horror film, and the DOP and the first AC, you know, we finished, DOP Max Williams and first AC Marina. They're like, you know, after we'll get you on the next one. Okay, yeah, sure. Everyone says that. Sure. Fast forward a few months, Max calls me up and he's like, hey man, what are you doing for the next 6 months? I was like, huh? I don't know. What do you need me for? He's like, how'd you like to come aboard on Bridgerton?
Oh, look at that.
I said, what? He was like, how would you like to be part of my team and be on Bridgerton for the next 6 months? I said, let me think about that. Yes, I'm there. Of course I'm there. He was like, okay, cool. We're gonna get it sorted. Fast forward, ended up being a 9-month long job. I'll be honest, I don't know what my NDAs allow me to say about it.
Don't say anything. Because I've done long jobs like that. Don't say nothing.
I'm not sure what they're going to let me say.
Just say you worked on season 3, right?
Season 3,
okay,
yes.
Cool.
Yes. And as much as I'd done my 2 and a bit years of being a camera assistant, I would equate it, the metaphor that I always use is, you can drive a car. I've learned I drive a car, I'm fine. I then go to Formula 1, they're like, okay, cool, drive this car.
Yeah.
I'm like, totally agree. What are all these buttons? How do I even start this thing? I get a car does this, but this is a whole other game. This is a massive step up. So everything I thought I knew, nothing.
And that's what's great about this industry. You're always learning.
Yes.
And I always say, and I say it on my podcast all the time, if you meet somebody who acts like they know everything,
Yes.
run in the opposite direction. Because
Yes.
that's the worst thing you ever worked on in your life.
100%.
I'm always learning, and I've been in this industry for like a decade now.
Yeah.
Like, it's the whole thing is always like that. So, but unfortunately, we're going to get kicked out of here like in a minute.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Time flies. So quickly, Lucas, like, where can people find you? What have you got coming up next?
You can find me obviously on my socials, Instagram, Twitter, you know, the usual. It's just Lucas Paternott. Coming up next, I'm actually taking a bit of time off.
Good.
After, I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that. I've worked very hard on something, and I'm taking a little break. But I'm still doing self tapes in the meantime. You know, I'm not gonna turn down a massive role or anything like that. But you know, I'm just gonna take some breaks, spend some time with my partner, because during that time I didn't really get to see her a lot. Of course. But yeah, man, it's been really good. This is a bucket list tick off for me, being on a podcast about my career. You know.
We might have to do a part 2 just to finish, because there was more I wanted to ask you.
For sure.
So there was more, but we just ran out of time.
For sure, man.
Well, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good. As usual, guys, you can follow me all on my usual socials, and stay tuned for the episodes coming soon.